Yo, what's going on? This is Kirk Morris. I'm your host of the Paddle Down Podcast, episode number 2. Uh, I'm quite delirious right now. I'm going to warn everybody. I've had a very long work day, no air conditioning in my truck. It was very hot outside. It's July the 14th, day 2 of free agency in the NHL. I'm all over the road again. I have a script here, sticking to the script, trying to, but I'm all over the road here and 37 seconds into the pod already. Oh, drugs. I need drugs. No, I don't need drugs. Stay in school, kids. That's what I'm going to say to you. That's what I was meaning to say. Anywho, as I was saying before, I had no air conditioning in my truck. I haven't had any air conditioning in my truck for the last little while. Not complaining. I'm happy I have a job. My bosses treat me very well. It's just, it sucks when you don't have air conditioning, like the little things like that. It kind of compounds your day. Kind of wears you down quicker when you don't have the little things like those amenities. Not that I'm complaining. I'm still alive. Still hydrating. And I'm recording a podcast to the universe out there. Whoever's listening. Appreciate y'all. Like I said, end of day 2 of free agency here in the NHL. Lots of AHL signings today. Not so much for the show. There's a couple of players out there that I haven't been signed yet, which I am shocked. Nazem Kadri. That's the big one here right now. I don't know what he's waiting for. Scuttlebutt, I am assuming he's going to re-sign with Colorado. Yeah, wait and see, I guess. I don't know what's happening. The big shocker yesterday was Johnny Hockey going to Columbus. I didn't see that coming. I don't think anybody really saw that coming. I thought he was going to go to New Jersey or Philly, but they kind of blew their chance, so to speak. In his presser there today, Goudreau said Columbus was on top of my list. Okay, no, everybody has their preferences, I guess. From what I read, Columbus is an awesome place to play and live. That's what I've read. I've never been there before, but good on them. That's the cool thing about unrestricted free agency. You call your own shots, not the club. And that's cool. That is awesome. Good for him. Nazem Kadri still isn't signed. Evan Rodriguez isn't signed yet. I know what's up with that because he had a career year with Pittsburgh, playing with Sed. Another former Penn, Zach Aston Reese. Those are the 3 that I've been keeping an eye on. Lots of tenders. Kemper to Washington. I think everybody guessed that. Thanks to Elliot Friedman. Same thing with Jack Campbell going to Edmonton. It was not a secret. There were a few trades as well. Murray to Toronto. Matt Murray to Toronto from Ottawa. I actually don't mind Matt Murray. I said it before in the last one. He's a good goaltender. Just had injury after injury after injury, and then he got demoted last year. And then he rebounded towards the end of the last year, and he played awesome. And I guess it was a salary dump for Ottawa for all the signings that they have done. They got DeBrincat from Chicago. I'm still scratching my head over the move there for Doc there to Montreal for basically nothing. And he's 21 years old. Like, give your heads a shake there, guys. Like, I have no idea what they're doing there in Chicago, man. It's madness. Complete. They want to tear it right down to the bare wood, and I get it. I completely get it, but head scratchers. Head scratchers. Also to Toronto. Ilya Samsonov did not get qualified by Washington. According to some of my sources, he likes to party. At least in the past. I don't know. There's been problems, I guess. That's why Washington didn't qualify him. And he hasn't been living up to his hype. Got selected in the first round there, 2016 draft, I do believe. The same draft that I wanted him in. Everybody was screaming for Barzal. I wanted Samsonov. Thank God that we didn't pick him. We still needed, at the time, a goaltender, but we got Cam Talbot. Yeah, the Oilers. They got Cam Talbot. Rest is history. But anyways, yeah, he's a reclamation project. As well, a lot of people are saying Murray's a reclamation project there too. I think he's on the rebound. I was kind of hoping that Edmonton would take a stab at Matt Murray. I was one of the very few. Yeah, sure, it's scary, taking on a so-called quote-unquote reclamation project. Matt Murray's got more. I know. I after seeing him play last year, Ottawa as a whole, towards the end of last year was playing damn good hockey. Sometimes you gotta, how can I say this? Matt Murray had to reset himself literally. So he went to Belleville, Ottawa's farm team, went down there, found his groove again, and it's funny, like you talk about Jack Campbell and what he has done to reclaim, reclamate his career. Matt Murray had to do the same. He had to start from scratch. And sometimes you got to do that. We've seen that with Devin Dubnyk there too after the ordeal there with Edmonton as well. You want to talk about old tenders, old Edmonton tenders, drafted and developed, and Devin Dubnyk was kind of in the same boat after Edmonton. It really screwed up his confidence. Same difference with Matt Murray. You sometimes got to, like anything else, you got to start from scratch. You got to get your groove back. You got to do the simple things, just go through the motions. And sometimes you got to swallow some pride, and restart. And that's what he did. And like I said there before, towards the end of last season there, he got called back up. He's had injuries. That's the other thing. But he got recalled back up, played awesome. I think he had like a .942 save percentage there to the last few games or whatever it was, or last month, or I can't remember offhand. I'm just spitballing numbers right off the top of my head. But yeah, he was awesome. So Kyle Dubas has taken a chance on not one, but two goaltenders to rebound. That's a risk. With what you got up in front of the goalies, that's a risk. That is a gamble. That is a riverboat gamble. Sell it down the river. You might as well push all your chips into the middle of the table. Go all in. But for Kyle Dubas there, man, when you have four forwards that are handcuffing you with your salary cap, it's pretty hard to make any moves and make improvements or make little tweaks. It's pretty tough. And then the other, I don't know if you want to call it a controversy or whatever, Marc-Andre Fleury, before free agency, re-signed with Minnesota for 2 years at $3.5 million. And once again, words were flying around there that Cam Talbot was pretty pissed. And he did not want the same thing going into next season, this upcoming season. Excuse me, I had to burp here. I didn't want to burp into the mic. I'm trying to be professional here. Damn, that's good water. Wish it was whiskey. Anywho, he had words. Rumor was flying around. I don't know if it was Michael Russo that reported there, but sounded like he let Cam Talbot through a hissy fit. Didn't want to go through the same tandem as he did last year. Towards the, after the trade deadline there, he wanted to be the number one guy in mini, and fair play to him. He's kind of earned it. He's played damn good for Minnesota. And Bill Guerin, I think, threw it out as he hasn't said shit to me, or it was along the lines of that, or this shit doesn't concern me, or whatever. But I don't know. He was asked about it at the draft, and he didn't sugarcoat things. That's basically what he said. So I think right before free agency, or was it during the middle of free? I can't remember. Man, the last couple of days have been blurred for you. I apologize, people. Anywho, long story short, he got traded to Ottawa. So he starts out with a clean slate there for DJ Smith there in Ottawa this coming season. Him and Anton Forsberg should be a damn good tandem. I'm assuming it'll be a pretty even split. I know with Talbot there and Kaapo Kakkonen last year, they split pretty evenly. I know Kakkonen there, he went on a run. He was on a heater there, and I think right after the Winter Classic there, I think he fell right off a table, and Talbot picked up and carried on. And then Kakkonen got traded after that. But yeah, no, he works well in the tandem, man. Cam Talbot, he going back to like the 2016-17 Oilers, like he played lots, and it literally ruined him. So being in a tandem for him, along with Anton Forsberg, who re-signed, I think it was back in March when I wrote that article. I think it was like 2 days after I published an article there for Heavy Hockey. He literally got re-signed by Ottawa. A great grab. Like, he had a career year for them. Stood tall when Murray was finding his groove again down in Belleville. So, yeah. Crazy amount of events. And then everybody knows about Jack Campbell going to Edmonton. That was not a trade secret by any means. According to Bob Stauffer today on Oilers Now, he had an offer on the table from Toronto, didn't like it, and basically walked away. That was it. And being good friends with Zach Hyman, pretty easy move. And it's, unless if you're living under a rock, which I know he wasn't, was impressed by the Oilers' run this last season into the playoffs. It was a no-brainer. I didn't like the term 5 million by 5 years. But you got to look on both sides of the coin. Edmonton has been looking for a starting goaltender forever. Last 3 years, it's been Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen. And now they have somewhat stability. Like I said in the last podcast, I really like Jack Campbell as a goalie. He has the tools to become, dare I say it, a Vezina winner. But his biggest hurdle, once again, is his mentality. Like you saw it last year there, right before the All-Star break, he just fell off a cliff. He had like a version of the yips, or like, or the shanks, or whatever you want to call it. And then he got injured. And then towards the end of the season, he got healthy. started playing well into the playoffs, and I thought he had a decent playoffs for Toronto against a very tough Tampa team. I thought they were going to win that round, but once again they didn't. They didn't break through, and the rest is history. So, dare I say it? Boy, I liked it, but I didn't like it. Didn't like the term, but you want a goaltender, you want stability in net. You're gonna have to bite the bullet in free agency. You always do. You always overpay in free agency, but it's how badly you overpay. That's the big thing. Staying with the Oilers here for a minute. The other free agent signings, or I should say re-signings. The big shocker for me was Evander Kane coming back. I thought he was going to get more on the open market. The Oilers gave him permission to talk to other teams. Probably didn't get the best offers, so he rounded back, made it official there on midnight local time yesterday. And yep, he's coming back. $5.125 million for 4 years. I thought that was a decent deal. Like, I actually, pardon me, check that. A good deal. Good deal for the club. Would have liked him to see him for 3 years, but beggars can't be choosers. He's a $8-9 million a year guy, and you're getting him for half price just about. So damn good work there by Ken Holland. And the other re-signing, Brett Kulak. Thank God. That's all I have to say. He was our best defenseman. If it wasn't for Darnell Nurse getting injured, I thought the Oilers would have been dead in the water defensively. Cody Ceci was good. Not going to knock him. Not going to knock Duncan Keith. But Brett Kulak was a stabilizing agent for Tyson Barrie. They were great together. And then the one game they played, Woodcroft played, or had Kulak and Ceci together, they were damn good too. So you have lots of options there with Kulak. You can move up and down in your defense lineup. He can play first pairing minutes, or you can play third pairing minutes. You know, it's a damn good signing. And he got signed for a good term. Well, I shouldn't say good term, but good money, like $2.75 million for 4 years. You can't say anything bad about that. Like I said before, well done by Ken Holland. He had, before I forget, I'm going all over the road here, in The Athletic, Daniel Nugent-Bowman, I can't even say his name properly, DNB, as he's known, Daniel Nugent-Bowman. He had an article, it had an interview with Ken Holland's son, Brad Holland. Very interesting article. It blew me away. I'm not going to lie. I was very shocked reading that. And you get the feeling nepotism when you hear Ken Holland's son being added on as an assistant GM. It just rolled my eyes when I heard that, when it did come out. But that interview pretty much, it in a nutshell, it gives you the whole ball of wax of what Brad went through to get to where he is. And he's analytics driven. I was blown away. That was like, I was just like, what? You're actually decent with, or I should say decent. You have the knowledge of analytics. You add that in to what you're doing. Wow. And he backed his dad up. Like he said, dad has a great memory, he stood up for his old man, and I got to give him credit for that too. Like, like I said, nepotism. Yeah. With Sly Rodrigue and Olivia Rodrigue. That's another thing I'm going to talk about there next week with Spencer Promote. But anyways, that's, like I said, that's another another day to talk about that one. But yeah, just nepotism. I when I heard about that, I was like pissed, type of deal. But man, that article is awesome. Go read it if you have a sub to the Athletic. Damn good read. Yeah, the Oilers did good. Period. They didn't do fantastic. They still got to deal with their RFAs. Yes, Apulari Harvey, that's the big one. I hope he comes back, man. I really do. I love the kid. He is one step away from just breaking out. There's rumors flying around that, well, I shouldn't say rumors flying around. They have options to deal away Puljujärvi, but nobody wants him because of his value. I'm assuming Holland wants a warm body back rather than a draft pick for him. And no dice on dealing him yet. The other rumors flying around is Warren Fogle perhaps being dealt. And people want Tyson Barrie gone. I'm kind of on the fence with Tyson Barrie now. After seeing his performance in the postseason, playing with Kulak, he played damn good. And you can point to the fact that Barry's a one-trick pony offensively. He played defensively responsible, and you got to hand that to Kulak, and you got to hand that to Dave Manson there, like the assistant coach of the Oilers. Like, you got to hand it to him, man. Yeah, straight up. Like, I think he's going to get better. Like, I have faith in the coaching staff finally. So, and when you have a defensive partner like him, like Kulak, that will cover for you basically as a wingman, quote unquote, I guess, not really in defense, but, cover each other, you're there for each other, right? With your D partner, you gotta cover cover up each other's mistakes, that kind of deal. And yeah, I thought, I think Tyson Barrie should be given another. His value is not going to go down. Like, he offensively, like if there's teams out there by the this year's trade deadline, next season's trade deadline comes up. If you want to get rid of him, go ahead and get rid of him. But I don't get that feeling from Holland. I really don't. I could be wrong, like I usually am. But yeah, lots of people want Barrie gone, and I just who are you going to replace him with? That's the other, like, you got to look at the other side of the equation. People are saying PK Subban. Well, what are you going to sign him for? That's another big name, by the way, that hasn't been signed yet. And I talked to NHL Sid there on Twitter there today about PK Subban. I said, I asked him, his metrics are awesome? Like his analytics? He goes, yeah. So last year he was playing in Jersey there. Yeah. No, he's been on, I think it was Jersey. God, my memory is shot to shit. Anywho. Yeah. Who are you going to replace Barrie with? I love these GMs online. Anyways, I don't have a clue. You can't bring up Vinny Desharnais. You can't throw a kid into a spot. You need a vet. I know Jay Woodcroft is high on him, but he's still a kid, and you're in a win now mode. So you gotta bring in a vet, somebody who's defensively responsible, or adds something really good to the mix. And I think Brett Kulak's going to do a hell of a job in the absence of Duncan Keith retiring. So that's just my take on that. Anyways, I'm talking way too much Oilers here. Got to get back to the meat and potatoes of this podcast, and that is goaltending. Oh, yeah. One other point I want to get to, or get back to. Johnny Gaudreau signing in Columbus. I didn't see that coming. Apparently he strung out Brad, GM, Calgary GM there, Brad Chairley, right to the end. But it's his choice. He probably had to weigh everything out. He's got a kid on the way there with his wife. According to online stuff that I read there today, his wife is a pediatric nurse. And apparently Columbus has a hell of a pediatric hospital. So, take it for what it's worth. And he wanted to live closer to his family. I can totally understand that. Left a lot of cheddar on the table. Left a lot of money on the wood. Apparently, he was offered $12 million by 7 years from Calgary. And then Friedman, or no, it wasn't Friedman, it was Frank Saravalli tweeted out the same thing that Columbus offered. Kind of scared off everybody else. Was waiting probably for an answer there from Philly, because that was his childhood team. That's the team he wanted to play for badly. And they said, nope, we're out. So did New Jersey. So did New York Islanders, I heard. And then he went back to Columbus and he said, oh yeah, it's on the top of my list. Okay. Not knocking Columbus at all. They've got they're rebuilding their team quite nicely, man. Brought back Jonas Cooper. Let's say that again. They brought back Jonas Korpisalo. I think he had hip surgery. Be backing up Elvis Merzlikins, who signed long term. Elvis is a hell of a tender. They're rebuilding. They got Lineator re-signed. He's an RFA. I don't know how they're going to wing it, but they're going to wing it somehow. I know Calgary fans are pissed. They are pissed. Because now they're worried about losing another guy in a year who's also an RFA right now, and that's Matthew Tkachuk. Lots of people saying that he's going to go back to St. Louis once he gets the UFA status. And then he might request a trade here right now. Who knows? It's a sticky situation there for Trey Living, and I know most fans there in Calgary are probably freaking pissed, and I don't blame them. It's like that with Pronger with my Oilers. They're back in 06, where he fled literally after 1 year. No, it wasn't even 1 year. It was like a quarter of a season. It sucked. But I can feel for him. It's Calgary. That's all I'm going to say. Lastly, or I should say second lastly, all the AHL signings. That was the other thing I forgot about. I forgot about Edmonton. Calvin Pickard signed for 2 years as a number 3 goalie. I was talking about number 3 goalie for my team. Good signing. He did well there with Detroit's farm team there, Grand Rapids last year. Yeah, like 918 save percentage. Forget the goals against average he had there. But yeah, good signing. Good number 3. If Campbell or Skinner, gets injured, he can slot right in. Help out. Not for long stretches though, but he's a good number 3 to have. No doubt. Right off the top of my head, Troy Grosnick signs with Philly. Alex Leon, I forget how to pronounce that guy's last name, signs with Florida. Good deep signings. Depth signings, I mean. Lastly, Buffalo, man. Shout out to Jeff Aid. Sorry, I keep wanting to pronounce it Ade, but it's Jeff Aid. He is the newest member of the heavy hockey crew, I guess you could say. He's a Buffalo fan. They did a lot of good things between the draft and now. They have done awesome things. The one saying that blew me away, Eric Comrie. He was an unrestricted free agent, Group 6, because he didn't play enough games in the AHL with Winnipeg and with other. I think he played for Detroit and he played for Arizona because he got kicked around waivers thanks to the pandemic. He signed a 2-year deal, 1.8 million per for 2 years. A hell of a good signing. He'll have lots of opportunity to play there if Craig Anderson blows a hammy there. And I think they re-signed Malcolm Subban, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I don't know the term or the money there that he signed for there as well. But a good 2-3 guy. You hate to lose him, a guy like that on waivers, but man, oh man, if he shines there in preseason, he'll definitely slot in behind Andy for sure. For sure. And I got to mention this about Buffalo. I was watching the draft coverage there on the NHL Network, and one interview that blew me away right out of the water. Excuse me. Was there Buffalo's director of amateur scouting, Jerry Fortin. He broke down and basically what happened there. He was asked, where he saw the team was going, and he started answering the question, and then he broke down, and he had to ask for a minute for to collect his thoughts there and gather himself, and he just basically said in a nutshell, Kevin Adams, actually the Pagulas, right from the top down, like right from the owners, straight down to Kevin Adams. And he just said, I've been blown away by the last, since March, since he took over from Jankowski as a director of amateur scouting. And he just said, everybody cares. Everybody's working towards this goal of rating the ship, and then I can feel for Buffalo fans, man. Yeah, decade of darkness here with Edmonton. And it was just one gaffe after another with management. Whether it was asset management or just plain dumbass trades or dumb moves. Oh boy. I feel for them, man. And they're finally building something good there. Like they got players, like they got Alex Tuck in the Jack Eichel deal. He wanted to go there. I was like, what? And then I did a little digging. He's from Syracuse, I do believe. And when the trade was made, and he's like, yeah, he was so stoked. I'm like, what? And I had to look it up. Oh, he was a Buffalo fan growing up. Makes sense, So, and sure, like, you're going to have your bumps in the road. We even seen it with Edmonton, with what you really did. But, and after seeing Fortin break down, and then it hit me just like a ton of bricks. Like, wow, there's people there that actually give a shit, that want the team to win. And, like Terry Pagula and his wife, they haven't had the most glowing review there, since buying the team. They were focused mainly on their other team, the Buffalo Bills in the AFL. And when you see that from a guy that actually gives a shit, and you see them drafting, they're drafting good. They're trying to get decent players in free agency, like Eric Comrie. So it's really cool to see, and I'm definitely keeping an eye on them for sure. I'm rooting for them. People like Jeffrey Ade. Sorry, Jeff. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your last name. Fans like Jeff. I feel for them, man. So they're definitely building something good, and it seems like there's more and more people that want to go there and play. So a very bright future for them when you see something like that. So I just wanted to make a solid point on that. Man, it's so awesome to see, because Buffalo's been the butt end of a lot of jokes here in the last 9 years. That's about it. That's all I got. I'm trying to keep it short. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, next week, gonna have next Monday, gonna have Spencer Pomodi on, another contributor to the Heavy Hockey Network. He's our draft / prospects guy. Be talking a lot about that. One last quick shout out. The development camp there for Edmonton was going on this week, and the Billy Moore's Cup, the end of the development camp scrimmage, went tonight, and I saw they managed to snag a pic of Ryan Fanti's new setup with the royal blues and the orange, his pads and his blocker and the whole 9 yards. Even his mask was cool, man. It had a condor painted on the side, and with that royal blue, it looked friggin' awesome, man. I am so stoked for the new Oilers. Well, they're bringing back the royal blues. It's not necessarily new, but definitely an upgrade over the old freaking yellows, or not yellows, the old orange. The Adidas ones are just terrible. I'm sorry. The navy blue, it's not the same. I like the throwback ones, like back in 2016-17, like those were cool, but it got old. And then when Adidas came in, they just butchered it to death. But anyways, yeah, his Ryan Fanti setup, man, freaking awesome. He's a CCM guy. Yeah, I'm not necessarily a CCM guy, but damn good setup. It looked awesome there. So shout out to him for having good taste. Anyways, I'm going to header. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Rambling on again here. And yeah, going to have some more. Going to have Spencer on there this next podcast. And then from there, hopefully have more guests on after that. So some good stuff coming along down the pipe here. So my name's Kirk Morris. This is the Paddle On Podcast. We'll see you soon.